At dawn, a logging camp sits silent in a mountain valley. 6 men are gone. Coffee still steams beside a fire pit. Chainsaws lean against a stump, fuel tanks full. A truck idles with the driver's door open. By nightfall, search teams blame a sudden flood. Then the river level tells a different story. 40 years pass. When the valley is finally drained, something waits in the mud. The Clearwater Valley lies in the northern Cascades, steep-walled and thick with fir. In 1968, it was remote enough to swallow noise and far enough from town to keep secrets. A small logging outfit leased the land for a winter cut, planning to haul timber before spring melt. The crew was experienced. 6 men who had worked together for years. They camped light, trusted the river, and knew the weather. Radios crackled with routine check-ins. Nothing suggested danger. On February 12, contact stopped. A supply driver reached the site the next morning and found the camp untouched. No signs of struggle. No overturned equipment. The river ran cold but steady, well below flood stage. Sheriff's deputies arrived by noon. They noted footprints around camp that ended abruptly near the riverbank. The assumption came easily. A flash search. An icy slip. Men swept downstream before anyone could react. The search focused on water. Boats combed the river. Divers worked eddies and bends. Helicopters traced the valley for miles. No bodies surfaced. No gear snagged on rocks. The current hadn't changed in days. Despite the gaps, the explanation held. Mountain rivers kill quietly. Paperwork labeled the incident an accidental drowning. Memorials followed. The camp was dismantled. Trees reclaimed the clearing. The valley was scheduled to disappear soon anyway. In the early 1970s, a hydroelectric project was approved upstream. Engineers planned a dam that would flood Clearwater Valley completely. The land was bought out. Access roads vanished beneath brush. The river slowed and widened as water backed up behind concrete. By 1972, the logging camp sat under 30 feet of water. For decades the story rested there. Then drought returned. In 2008, reservoir levels dropped to historic lows. The Power Authority ordered a controlled drainage to inspect the dam's intake towers and reinforce aging spillways. Over weeks, water receded from the valley floor, exposing silt, stumps, and old roadbeds. Locals came to look. What emerged didn't match the records. At the northern edge of the former camp, surveyors spotted metal protruding from the mud. At first glance, it looked like abandoned equipment. A closer inspection revealed a truck cab. The logging truck. Its windshield was intact. The driver's door stood open. Inside, keys still hung from the ignition. Authorities cordoned off the site. As water drained further, more appeared. Fuel drums. A collapsed canvas tent. Chainsaws laid out in a neat row, blades clean, no rust beyond what years underwater would explain. The scene felt paused. Then a boot surfaced. Search teams recovered 6 sets of remains over the next 3 days. They were found together, not scattered by current. Each body lay within a tight radius near the camp, partially buried by silt. None showed injuries consistent with drowning. Medical examiners noted fractures to ribs and forearms. Defensive wounds. Blunt force trauma. The river had not taken these men. Attention shifted back to 1968. Old reports were pulled. Witness statements reread. One detail stood out. The crew had logged an argument over the radio the night before contact ended. The transmission was brief and distorted, but words like boundary and not ours were recorded. At the time, it was dismissed as a land dispute with another outfit. Records showed no other crews operating nearby. The dam project's files added another layer. Survey maps from the 1960s revealed a structure upriver from the camp that was never mentioned in public plans. A concrete intake tunnel, abandoned during early construction, sealed off before the reservoir filled. When the tunnel entrance was uncovered by draining water, investigators found fresh tool marks on the ceiling blocks. Not recent. Old. Deliberate. Inside, the tunnel extended farther than expected, sloping down into darkness beneath the valley floor. Mud preserved footprints along the concrete, frozen in time. 6 sets. The tunnel opened into a chamber carved into bedrock. Wooden supports lined the walls, older than the dam, older than the logging lease. Rusted cables hung from hooks. A winch sat bolted to the floor. This wasn't part of hydroelectric construction. It was older. Local historians traced land ownership back to the 1930s. During Prohibition, Clearwater Valley had been used by bootleggers to hide stills and store liquor beyond the reach of law enforcement. Later, during wartime rationing, the same tunnels sheltered illegal logging and equipment theft rings. By the late 1960s, those operations were supposed to be gone. Evidence suggested otherwise. The chamber showed signs of recent use for that era. Oil residue. Food tins dated 1967. Cigarette butts preserved in damp silt. Someone had been working there when the logging crew arrived. The misdirection of drowning collapsed completely. Investigators theorized the crew stumbled onto the tunnel while scouting timber. A confrontation followed. 6 men against an unknown number, underground, in a place meant to stay hidden. The question remained: why move the bodies? The answer came from the river. Hydrologists confirmed the dam's construction schedule. Survey markers had been placed weeks before the disappearance. Notices went out about imminent flooding of the valley. Anyone operating illegally would have known the land was about to vanish underwater. Burying evidence beneath a reservoir would erase it for generations. The bodies were moved from the tunnel to the camp area, staged near the riverbank. Tools were left untouched to sell the story. Footprints were washed away by controlled water releases from upstream test gates, mistaken later for natural surges. It almost worked. What failed was time. During the recovery, divers found something else embedded in the mud near the tunnel entrance. A heavy steel door, blown inward. The locking mechanism had been destroyed from the outside. Blast residue was detected. The logging crew hadn't wandered into danger. They were trapped. A single piece of personal evidence sealed the case's direction. A wristwatch recovered from one of the men had stopped at 11:42 p.m., hours before the river would have been navigable for any supposed flood event. Audio technicians enhanced the old radio transmission. Beneath the argument, another sound emerged. A low mechanical whine. The same frequency later matched to the winch motor found in the chamber. Someone had been moving something heavy that night. No arrests followed. Most suspects tied to illegal operations in the valley were dead by 2008. Records were incomplete. Names changed. The dam's construction buried not just land but accountability. The final discovery came as the reservoir reached its lowest point. Near the center of the drained valley floor, surveyors uncovered a line of wooden posts forming a crude boundary. Each post bore a faded blaze mark used by illegal loggers to claim territory. The logging crew had crossed it. The men weren't victims of nature. They were witnesses who arrived at the wrong place before the water did. When the dam gates closed again and the valley refilled, the site disappeared beneath the reservoir once more. The truth didn't surface because someone confessed. It surfaced because the water finally let go.